Hello there. Welcome back to Cost and Management Accounting N6. Today, we want to look at a question paper of June 2022. On this question paper, we want to look at the question of the data collection schedule, and we've got some calculations that we need to do before we prepare that data collection schedule. So we go to our question, and this is the question that we have. We are only going to look at 1.4 and 1.5 on that question paper. So let's start to read the question. So the question reads, panel manufacturers has provided you with the following information regarding their production for the financial period ending 31 March 2019. The business is working at 45% capacity and there's a direct material of 125,000 rands. At 65% capacity, their direct labor cost is 75,000. Then on the required part, we are told to calculate the following on 1.4.1. We need to calculate direct material if the business is operating at 65% capacity. So this is very simple calculation that we need to do here. We are given 65% capacity and they need the direct material. But then here we're given an explanation that we have 45% capacity and the direct material will be 125,000. So just a simple proportion that we are going to employ there. So if we come here, let's just put this in the form of a proportion. So if come here now, we are saying we are starting from 1.4.1. So we are saying 1.4.1. We are given here we are given in the explanation that 45% is equal to 125,000 rands, and then they are asking us for 65%. So obviously now this is the figure that we want to find there. So we can put a question mark there. So if you put it in this form, it becomes simple for you to calculate this calculation. So what you're going to do here, we're going to say this is what you don't have. This figure 65% represents what you don't have, and then 45% represents what you have. So basically there you are just going to employ the formula that what you don't have, I put it as a denominator, then what you have, you put it as a numerator, then you multiply by the given figure. You multiply by the given figure. So in this sense, the given figure is 125,000. It becomes the given figure. So you can just multiply it in that format. So what we don't have here is 65%, and what we have is 45%. Then we multiply by the given figure, which is 125,000. So this is very simple. And then if you calculate it very correctly, and round it off to two decimal places, you are going to get 180,000, 180,555, 555. Then we say 0.55 there. So this is what we have. So there is a 0.55 that is there. So we can just maybe put our 0.555 here. We have 0.55. So this is our final answer for 1.4.1. Then on 1.4.2, they need 90%. What's direct material if the business is operating at 90%? Simple again. We know that 45% is equal to 125. Again, we're just going to employ the same thing. This is 1.4.2. 1.4.2. We are going to say 45 is equal to 125. And then the one that we are calculating with now, it's let's check. Remember 1.4.2, we are saying it's now 90%. So we are saying 90% here. This is 45% is equal to the question mark. That's what we don't have. So what we don't have, remember, it's a numerator, and what we have, remember, it's a denominator. Then you multiply by the given figure, 125,000. So let's try to calculate that correctly using our calculators. So if you calculate that correctly, obviously, the figure that we're going to get there is 250,000. So this is what we have in terms of 1.4.2. Then we go to the next one. We are now on 1.4.3. So on 1.4.3, we are saying the person on 1.4.3 saying direct material if the business is operating at 100% capacity. So we are given 45%. So we need 100%. A symbol again, let's just say 45%. Let's just say our 45% is equals to 125. What about 100? Obviously, our question mark, what we don't have. So what we don't have, numerator, what we have, a denominator, times the given figure here, and then you calculate it correctly there. That's 1.4.3. To two decimal places, you are supposed to get 277,777. And then obviously to two decimal places becomes 0.77. So this is what we have on the, so these are, we are having 777 here. So 1.4.3. Then we go to the next one, 1.4, 1.4.4 now. This was 100%, 1.4.3. So we are now on 1.4.4. 1.4.4 says direct labor if the business operating at 45%. So on direct labor, we have a different scenario there. For direct labor, let's just maybe clear here so that it becomes clear. For direct labor, now we are saying we are having 65% capacity and their direct labor cost is 75,000. So we're going to say 65% is cost to 75,000 rands. So what about 45%? So this is what we are going to say. 65 equal to 75,000. 1.4.4. 65 equals to, we can just maybe cross check. We have 65 equal to 75. Then what about 45? What about 45? So we are saying equal to 75,000 rands. What about 45? Obviously, it's that what we don't have. So we are going to say what don't have becomes the numerator. What we have, denominator, then you multiply by 75, the given figure, and then over 1. A symbol is that. Then after calculating the figure that you're supposed to get, that's 1.4.4, you are supposed to get 51,923. 0.07, obviously, to two decimal places. So we go to the next one, that's 1.4.5. It reads direct labor if the business is operating at 80%. So we know that now we need 90%. Remember, we know that 65 is equal to 75. So symbol 1.4.5, we are saying 65 is equal to 75,000. Then the one that is being asked there is our 90%. So we are saying 90 is the one that we don't have. So we just make the calculation there and make our fraction. What we don't have, numerator, what we have, denominator, multiply by the given figure. Then we do that. We use our calculator to find the correct answer. So if you use our calculator there correctly, it's supposed to get 103,846.14. So this is our final on the first part. So this is the first part that we have. Then we go to the second part now, that is 1.5. On 1.5, it's the debtors collection schedule. It reads Boys Limited, manufacturers of boys jeans, has provided you with the following information for their financial year ended 31 May 2018. You're having a column of 4 months and then for total sales. And then let's see the next information. So on the next information, we are given that on additional information, we're given that 60% of sales are on credit. Very important, take note. Then credit sales are collected as follows: 50% in the month of sale, 30% 1 month after the sale, 15% 2 months after the sale, then 5% is written off as bad debts. So we are going to prepare debtors collection schedule. So first of all, we have to calculate the proportion of our credit sales, which is 60%. So we are going to say the total sales that we are given there, we multiply by 60%, that we find the proportion of credit sales. And then when we find the proportion of credit sales, then we allocate these payments in terms of 50% in the month of sale, 30% one month after the sale, then 15% 2 months after the sale. So the first task that we have to calculate the credit sales. So if we are to go back there and see what we have there, you now know that it's 60%. So we're just going to say here 350,000 we multiply by 0.6, which is 60%. 60% is a decimal, becomes 0.6. So you multiply by 0.6 here. When you multiply correctly for March, you're supposed to get 210,000. 210,000, that's the credit sales for March. For April, again, you multiply by 0.6, and you are supposed to get 270,000. Then you go to May, multiply by 0.6 again. For May, you are supposed to get 141,000. Then this one again, you multiply by 0.6. You are supposed to get that's 700,000 for June. Multiplied by 0.6. You are supposed to get 420,000. 420,000. And then we go to July. For July, again, we are going to say 0. Times 0.6 again. There, we have 550,000 times 0.6. You are supposed to get 330,000. Then we go to lastly, August, you multiply by 0.6. 650,000 times 0.6, you get 390. So these are the figures that we are going to put in the data collection schedule, representing the credit sales for this month, from March to August. So we go to our data collection schedule and fill in those credit sales that we have calculated there. So this is our data collection schedule. So what are we saying? We are saying for March, we got 210,000. Then for April, we got 270,000. And then for May, we got 141,000. Then for June, we got 420,000. Right, we go down for July. For July, you got 330,000. Then for August, we got 390,000. Right, so this is what we have in terms of credit sales. Then when we have our credit sales now, they now represent the 100% of credit sales that we have. So this 100% of credit sales is the one that is being explained here, that 50% in the month of sale. So what does it mean? It means the credit sale of the same month will be received in the same month. In the same month. So if you come to our data collection schedule, it means for March, this 210, 50% of 210 will be received in March, but we don't have the column for March there. If you go to the question specifies that prepare the data collection schedule for June, July, and August. So these are the 3 months that are supposed to be we're supposed to show the data collection schedule, which is June, July, and August. So within the scope of the question, we don't have a column for March. So this one, we skip it. Then April, 50% of 270 will be received in April, but we don't have April here. So we skip that. May, again, we don't have May here. But June, we have got June. So it means 50% of 420,000 will be received in June. So we are just going to say 50%, which is 0.5 times 420,000. Then we see the answer that we get there. So here, let's just maybe try to say, if you say 50%, which is 50 over 100, we multiply by 420,000, which is for June, credit sales for June. There, obviously, you use your calculator. 50% there is a decimal, is 0.5. Then if you multiply by 420,000, you are going to get 210. So it means 210 will be received in June. It will be received in June because 50% is being said will be received in the same month. So 50% of 420 go 210. So here 210,000. Then 50% of 330,000 will be received in July, same month, and the July is here. So we send out 50% times 330,000. 50% times 330,000. So you're saying 0.5 times 330,000. That is now for July. If you are going to get, 165,000. So you're going to put it there for July, 165,000. We go back. There for July, 165. So this is what we have. Then we go down and see what we have next. Next, we have got August. So 50% of August will be received in August. So August here and August here. we're having August here, and then August here. 50%, we say 0.5 times 390,000. 50% times 390,000. We are now saying 50%, 0.5 times 390,000. That is for August. We are going to get our 195,000. So this is the one that we are going to put for August, 195,000. So we have 195,000. So this is what we have in terms of the first explanation there, or the first allocation, that we have 50% in the month of sale. Then 30% in the month after the sale. What does it mean? So it means credit sale, 30% of the credit sales of March will be received if it's March, and then from March we go to May. It means 50% of the credit sales of March will be received 1 month after, which means they will be received in May. So what does it mean? We have 30% there. It means the consent demands are June, July, and August. So we start from June. So yeah, June we are here. So the month before June we've got May. So 50% of the May credit sale, 30%. So it's now 30%. 30% of the credit sales of May will be received in what? In June, and then 30% of the credit sales of June will be received in what? In July. The same thing for 30% of the credit sales of July will be received in August. So for June, since we have got June here in these columns, June is the month that is we are starting from June. So we are saying now we go to the month before, which is 141,000 for May. Then we say 30%, 0.3 times 141,000, which is 30%, which is our 30% there. So we are now saying 0.3, our 0.3, which is our 30%, and then we multiply by the credit sales for May, which is 141,000. This is what is going to be received in June, and then we get what? 0.3 times 141,000. We receive, we get 42,300. Then here you get 42,300. So this is what we have, and then we go there. We are saying 30% of 145,000 will be received in what? In June. So we come here in June, and then we write 42,300. So we have got 42,300. So this is what we have, and then we go to the next one. 30% of June will be received in what? In July. So now we are saying 30%, which is 0.3 times 420,000, will be received in July in this column. So we are saying 0.3 times 420,000. You calculate that one. You are supposed to get we are saying 0.3 times 420,000. Let's try to see what's the answer. We are going to get 126,000. Then you get 126,000 here. And then the ones for July, 30%, the ones for July will be received in August. So you're going to put it here, 0.3 times 330,000. 0.3 times 330,000, you're going to get 99,000. So here we have got 99,000. So this is what we have. Then you go to the last explanation that we have. The last explanation that we have there. We have got 15% of 2 months after the sale. 2 months after the sale. What does it mean? If here we are saying March, May, June, we are saying the credit sales for March, the 15% will be received 2 months after, which is 1, 2 will be received here 2 months in June. So that is what is happening there. We are saying 15%. So the month that we are starting from is June. So you go to June, then you go 2 months back, 1, 2. So it means 15% of the April, 15% of the April credit sales will be received in June after 2 months, 1, 2. So we are saying 270,000. Then we multiply by 15%, which is 0.15. 270,000 times 0.15. Then we get our 40,500 for June. 40,500. Then we go to the next one. It means 15% of May will be received 2 months after. Now we're saying 1, 2 will be received in July. So so what we are saying now is 0.15 times 141,000. Then we put it in July here. 0.15 times 141,000. So we are going to put it as 21,150. The answer that we are going to get 21,150. Then we go to the next one. We are now going to the next one, which is June. 2 months after 2 in August. So 15% of the June credit sales will be received in August. So we are saying 0.15 is 15% times 420,000, and then will be received in August year. 0.15 times 420,000. What we have there, we have 63,000. We have 63,000. So we've finished there. We've finished there calculating. Then we can now find the totals. So if you add the total here of this column, you are going to get 292,800. Then the total of this column, you are going to get 304,150. Then the total of the last column there, we're going to get 357,000. So this is what we have, guys, in terms of this data collection schedule. Let's stay notified for the next video. Those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share. We'll meet again in the next video with that. I'm signing out.